Rise like a phoenix out of the edges, seeking rather than vengeance. Retribution, you were warned. Once I'm transformed, once I'm reborn, you know I will rise like a phoenix, but you are my flame.
Ooh, ganz toll, well done. Austria calling, and more specifically, Cesár Sampson. Hello.
Hey there, William. Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you. We've been reading all about you, finding videos on YouTube, and now we meet you in the flesh. How are you feeling with all this Eurovision buzz?
Well, the buzz actually lasted for about 1 week, and then it was okay. You know, Austria is not a very enthusiastic country, so it gets like business as usual very quick.
Okay. I'm sure you'll make more noise closer to the time.
Sure so, yeah.
How long have you had this option on the table, or rather, when did discussions begin for you to go to Eurovision 2018?
I think the discussions began prior to ESC 2016. That was the first time we talked about it. And I almost would have gone instead of Nathan, actually. It was actually Nathan or me in the end. And but now I'm actually happy that it didn't work out, because we actually wrote that song on a whim in the like last week of the like submission date, you know. And it was just not fleshed out enough. And this time around, we just had way more time to prepare, and I'm much more confident in it now.
And will you release that song that you wrote then?
Well, actually, no, we salvaged it. Part of it is in the new song, in the new song now.
Okay. And that new song, of course, is Nobody But You. Could you tell us about the creative process, how long you worked on it?
Yeah, like we said, we began, actually it was Sebastian, Armin, and me in the beginning, also in the beginning of that first version of it. And then when we sat back down in 2017 to kind of take it apart and find out what we leave out and what we have to recreate and find something new, then it was the two of us, like kind of creating the spine of the song. And then one after the other colleagues of the Symphonix collective, you know, we're 5 people. And this was one of those rare occasions where all 5 actually had a hand in creating it, and it was just so smooth. The creative process was very smooth, unusually smooth. Normally it's a lot of trial and error, but this time around, just everybody knew what to do. Everybody contributed what they do best, and it was just, you know, we hit a wall, and then we just showed it to our colleague, and he was like, "Oh, try this," and we're like, "Yay, great!" So it was like that.
And we obviously know it'll be 3 minutes, but can you tell us anything else about the song?
Well, I don't want to spoil too much, because very soon you will get to hear it anyway. You know, in February we're going to release it. I can tell you it's not a ballad. It's none of that. I also can tell you it's not gonna hit any cliche, like it's not gonna be a standard soul song or something. People might think that me being a soul singer, that I only do soul, but it's not true. Actually, I gravitate more towards crossover approaches. I always have a little bit of soul in there, but I like rock just as much, and I have a gospel-y edge too. I don't know why, because I never sang in church, but I just have that, you know. So yeah, it's a mix. It's a mix of a lot of things, but it's very homogeneous and it's very modern. Yeah.
Okay. And speaking of the Symphonix, they of course have worked on, I think, 4 Eurovision entries from recent years. Will your song remind us of those songs in any way?
Just the level of proficiency that my people just bring to the table every time they do something. They just have a certain level, and I'm sure you will be able to recognize that, that sophistication, I guess, you know.
And in 2016, when you were a backing vocalist for Poli, what was it like to be so close to center stage, but, you know, kind of hiding in the background?
I mean, I'm used to being on stage and next and behind very large stages. That's actually how I began as a front singer. I just took a break of about 10 years, but so that part wasn't the new part for me. The most interesting part for me coming to Eurovision in 2016 was more of the production process, the behind the scenes kind of thing, and also when it comes to, because it's a competition, I never really did a competition, so there's the element of how to prepare optimally, how to make sure you can kind of bring the best performance at exactly the time when you need to bring it, because it's like a sports competition. If you're at your best in training, that's not what you want. You want to be at your best in those 3 minutes. So that's something that just worked in my head and goes into preparation right now, you know.
It's funny, I told one of my friends, oh, Cesár Sampson singing for Austria, and I mentioned Poli Genova 2016, and he said, oh, was he the guy with the biceps? Because at the end you were like this. You made an impact.
I guess it was me.
Absolutely.
I was the only one of the backing singers who had like a short sleeve shirt, so I must have been the one.
Very memorable. And have Poli or Kristian given you any advice?
I think they just led by example. I was just watching them, and each of them have a certain way, a different way, but a certain way that I watched very closely. Like Kristian, especially, I liked how unguarded he was, and still confident. Like he never tried to put on an act, even at that age. I don't think I would have been able to do that when I was 16 years old. So I have a lot of respect for that. It's just him. And I liked how forthcoming he was, just showing you his emotions, and that's something that I really like. And I didn't know that is something that you can do and still be like kind of, you know, still have composure and be an artist and a professional. But that's something that I really liked about his way of handling Eurovision. And Poli was just like a big bowl of fun, you know. But Poli is just exuding fun in every step. So I really like that as well, of course. Yeah.
And to many people, you're a man of mystery, because, you know, so many other contestants go from like televised singing show The Voice to, you know, X Factor and then to Eurovision. But you've been doing your own thing. Could you tell us about some of your other musical projects or pursuits you've done before?
Well, for the last 10 years, like I said, I was behind the scenes, so I focused on music production, on songwriting. I was a ghostwriter for a lot of like domestic and foreign productions. I was actually, like, Boris Milanov, Sebastian Armin, and me were the original core members of Symphonix. We founded it in 2006, I think. So actually, we started off producing songs for Bulgarian stars. Those were our first clients back then. So that's the connection we have with Bulgaria. And following that time, it was a loose collective. It wasn't extremely professional or incorporated. It was just musicians that liked to work together. And in the meantime, I did a couple of other things. You know, I have a couple of like areas of interest and now areas of expertise. I did a sports diploma, and I had a bit of a hand in artistic direction. I work in a theater where I'm an artistic director. So I just felt I needed more range, because I never wanted to be just a performer. I wanted to be an artist, and I just thought I didn't have enough of a story when I first was offered the opportunity to be like a recording artist, a public person. It was when I was like 17 years old. The first offers for contracts, especially from Germany, came in at that time, and I just wasn't ready, you know.
One thing we like about you is that you have lots of different life experience, like you were just saying. I saw that you were signed by a Slovak model agency.
Well, that kind of just happened, but I have to say I'm not that much of a model. I just did like a handful of jobs, you know. It's not really all that serious, you know.
Okay. And also, you've worked with people living with disabilities. What was that work?
I did that when I was 21. I started that. I just felt there was just what I needed because I had done, I don't know, 8 years of being on stage during the night, and I was just, everything I did was about being myself and getting attention and stuff like that. And I just felt I needed to put some attention to someone else for a change, you know. And yeah, and I just learned so much there. I matured there. I think prior to that I was just a kid, and I think it could have been. I know a lot of musicians who are still kids in their 30s, and I think that kind of changed that for me. After that, I was just a grown up, I guess. Yeah.
And on the Bulgaria background, a lot of our readers are like, does he know Bulgaria? Has he been to Bulgaria?
Yeah, matter of fact, like I said, we started off in Bulgaria, in Sofia. I gave a number of vocal workshops there back in the day. And also Poli, we knew, like, we were friends with her years before she came to the Eurovision stage. We were on holidays together, the whole Symphonix team and her, when we were not even Symphonix yet. So that's a really old story, and yeah, we have a love relationship with Bulgaria. We just love it. Borislav Milanov, he was our guide, our historic guide. You know, he always tells us all these details about Bulgarian history, and he's very proud of its heritage. And I understand that. If I were Bulgarian, I would be very proud as well. There's a lot of reasons to be proud of Bulgaria. Yeah.
And also the Symphonix, because you guys have had some great tracks. I mean, Dance Alone is one of my favorite studio tracks ever. So good. Is it possible that this year at Eurovision you could compete against another Symphonix track?
It's very possible, yes. It is very possible, yeah. So there are two tracks in two different selections. I cannot say which, but so it could be that I compete against another of our productions, yes.
Brilliant. We heard the Maltese entry from Brooke, which I think is a Symphonix.
Exactly.
Very nice, well done. And then there are some others behind the scenes. But in any case, people, as you mentioned earlier, sometimes say, oh, he's a soul singer, but you actually can sing many different genres. Like, you're comfortable in many genres. I'm hoping you can tell us, like, what are some of the other genres you love?
I think I'm more of a blues and jazz singer, but I feel comfortable in R&B. It's just the only thing that I don't like about singing R&B is that it's mostly written for the tenor range, and I'm a little bit lower, so I can do it, but it will never be the same as a tenor singing that. So I just have to find my range where I shine, and it's a little bit lower than that. So I prefer like mid-tempo songs. I prefer bluesy songs. I prefer also I like that gray area where blues and jazz and rock kind of merge. There's a natural focal point to those three genres, and I like playing around with that area, you know.
And Eurovision fans always like to know other people's Eurovision story. When did you become a fan of the contest?
Really very fast in 2016, which was my first Eurovision Song Contest that I participated in the production team. And I think the first thing that surprised me was, I think a lot of people in a lot of different countries who are not very much in touch with a Eurovision Song Contest, they still think of it as this Schlager kind of you know, a little bit out of touch with contemporary music culture. And the first thing I realized was it is not that at all anymore. So that was my first aha moment, you know. And then it was just about the warmth and the coming together of different cultures and countries and all that positivity that is there that really got me.
And was there a moment in 2016 or 2017 that stands out to you when you think about your experience?
Yeah, I think one of the key moments for me that influenced me wanting to go to Eurovision was we were in the backstage room, in kind of the artist room, where we have this video wall watching all the rehearsals and all those preparations, and we saw Jamala doing her thing. Every day we saw Jamala, and I was like, the first time I heard it, I was like really touched, and I was thinking to myself, I was sitting next to Borislav, and I was thinking, wow, this is great. But with my like prejudice to Eurovision, I was like, this is never going to win. This way too special, you know, to win. And of course, I was proven wrong. And also what really startled us about Jamala was that she brought that same emotion each and every time to the stage. And we could just see it's not an act, you know, she always goes to that place, you know. And that I really liked. That was the realization that an actual artist, not just a good performer, but an artist can do their thing on the Eurovision stage, you know.
And when the results were coming in, Bulgaria had obviously in the past not done so well. And then you guys were just climbing up the scoreboard. What was that like for you?
To be honest, we were very confident that we would at least make the final. You know, we just couldn't imagine that we would like fail to go to the final. So after the final, it became interesting because then of course we couldn't help but look at the quotes and the you know the projections of the betting agencies and stuff like that, and we just rose and rose and rose, and we just started believing in actual sensation. And and I think we're really ecstatic, all of us, when we reached the 4th place. I think we were even more ecstatic than we were when we reached the 2nd place the next year, because when you do 2nd place, you're so close to a win, you know. It's different, you know.
Oh. Did you find yourself with Kristian? Obviously, he was very emotional after coming so close. Did you comfort him? Were you kind of like a father figure or brother?
We were in his corner from day one, and we also realized that he's maybe young, but he's experienced. So there was always the only thing that we felt sorry for was that he already in X Factor, I think in Russia, already had the 2nd place experience, you know, and we just didn't want that to repeat for him. But on the other hand, as we told it to him, it's no matter how he wants to look at it, a 2nd place would be also spectacular for a singer that age, you know. So we just decided to let him kind of internalize that, and we knew he's going to be fine very soon. I mean, it has to be a little bit disappointing if you're very close to the ultimate goal, but he was fine, you know.
And in a few months, you're going to be traveling around Europe, promoting your song, going to Portugal. What are you most looking forward to in all of this?
Right now, I'm most looking forward to seeing people react to the song, because I've been listening to the song and different versions of it for so long, and I just can't wait to present it in many different ways. I want to present it a cappella, I want to present it unplugged, and all these different things I have in mind, and just to mix with the Eurovision crowd and just see what kind of energy comes back. That's most interesting to me. I'm not even that much in Lisbon yet, you know. There's
a long road ahead.
There's a long road ahead, and I just want to enjoy every step, you know.
Have you met Conchita?
Yeah, like quickly backstage somewhere, but not really. Yeah,
okay.
Not really.
Soon she's gonna want your autograph, Cesar. Yes, she is. Do you have a message for all of your fans on wiwibloggs who are going to be following you in the coming months?
My message is I hope I can bring a lot of fun and good positivity to you through my music. I hope you're gonna enjoy it as much as I do, and I hope we'll get to party one way or another in Lisbon together.
He is Cesár Sampson. Ooh, I'm echoing. And he is ready to slay Eurovision 2018. The song is Nobody But You. And right. We cannot wait to hear it. You've got us excited now. But thank you so much, Cesar.
Thank you.